Good evening, Professor Dixon. I hope you're doing well. In this week's video, week 10, I decided to watch a public webinar from the National Lawyers Guild website regarding prison book bans and censorship. The panel included lawyers and organizers and was moderated by a journalist. Some of the names were Jeremy Hammond, who works with an organization named Midwest Books. He is a formerly incarcerated person for hacking. And he brought an interesting perspective, which was how reading is one of the lifelines in prison. He said he read a lot of books and stressed the importance of having a discussion like this one. Also, Joe, who also works with Midwest Books, was a big advocate of the cause, and Jack, who was a recent law school graduate. So they started off with a brief history of Midwest Books, their organization they're working with. It was funded in 2004. And their mission has been to send books and other reading materials to incarcerated people in every state, at least everywhere they're allowed to send, because as they explained later, they said it changes rapidly. And so the main ones they're affiliated with was Cook County Jail and Illinois, but also they send to everywhere they can. And so other ways to show solidarity to inmates has been to publish and amplify their works, building personal relationships with them through visits and letters, phone calls, etc., and creating book clubs or allowing inmates to create their own book clubs by providing many copies of the same book. And so they've been more and more involved as well with policy work because of the huge wave of book bannings and book censorship. And so they explain how prisons are the largest book ban in the U.S. During the last couple of years, starting around COVID, prison administrators have prevented incarcerated people from receiving books, reading materials, and physical mail in general. This made the pandemic lockdown feel much worse than it already was. Libraries were closed, educational and rehabilitation programs were shut down, prisoners were forced into solitary confinement, and half of all state prisons eliminated physical mail. And so mail was now allowed only to be scanned, which obviously limits what can be sent. Often it was not scanned properly and there were page limits, so overall it just wasn't great. Bans were difficult to track and combat because each prison makes their own restrictions without posting it publicly. So it's estimated that around 50,000 books have been banned. And so a quote directly from one of the panelists is, the fight against prison censorship is tied intimately with the struggle against fascism. And so he explained he compared the situation with Nazi Germany, where the Nazis used to burn books that didn't align with their ideology. The prison system have justified book bannings as an attempt to fight drug smuggling, and so they framed it as a war on drugs. Many prisons have spread misinformation, claiming that fentanyl overdoses have been occurring. And so more and more books are being rejected and turned back on the ground that they have highlighter stains, crinkled pages, just silly claims such as these. And the difficult part is the people who send them don't get their books back, so they can't verify these claims. And so there's also a 10-day period to appeal the rejection decision, but because they send it by mail, often they don't have enough time to appeal it. And so these quote-unquote made-up claims are then used by the states to justify spending more resources on prison securities to avoid this influx of what are reported as contrabands. Some prisons also have absurd rules, such as only a certain type of book can be sent, such as magazines, and can only be sent if they've just been released within like 3 months. And so this is another way of just reducing the influx of books, and also by narrowing the definition of what is considered a legitimate publisher. And there are other restrictions, such as certain topics aren't covered, no books in foreign languages, no hardcovers, no magazines, and more. So the panel gave instructions on how to fight back. They encouraged viewers to fight back by appealing rejections, filing lawsuits, enacting legislation, contacting their local politicians directly, as well as prison administrators. And again, because each local county has their own rules and procedures, it's very difficult to prevent these bans. So it's basically about trial and error, sending books to places and seeing whether they are rejected or not. And so to summarize, the panel said that the quality of life is getting worse for incarcerated people in Cook County Jail. In 2023, the sheriff enacted a law limiting incarcerated people to 3 books. And the panel gave a sample script for when people called the jail to demand that they end the book ban. So essentially, this is the script they gave. Hello, my name is Dash. I live in Dash. I'm calling to demand that Sheriff Tom Dart reverse the decision to limit people in jail to 3 books. Books and other paper materials are essential, not only for incarcerated individuals to be fully engaged in their legal defense, but also to improve their quality of life. Access to tablets should be offered in addition to physical books and mail, not used to replace them. So yeah, that's a summary of the public webinar I watched. And yeah, so thank you. Have a good weekend.